Hey guys, Joe here once again. This is my part two of the top 10 best of the Friday the 13th films. Let's get this started. Before I did I did numbers 10 to 7. So my number 6 in this top 10 is Jason X, which was made in 2001. Basically, it's the whole movie where Jason goes to space. This movie takes place. Well, this movie was created for 2010. It was portrayed in 2010, and the whole, Jason was captured by the whole government, and that whole situation. And one of the main characters is Rowan, who was portrayed by Alexia Doig. Um, she's basically one of the survivors. Well, was a survivor until Jason got her in the beginning of the film. It was just her and him, and they were trapped in the ice pod whole incident, and they were basically under ice for over 400 years until 2004. The year 2455, where the second Earth, and they traveled to the first Earth. The people of the second Earth traveled to the first Earth, yada yada yada. And they found the ice pod, and they found Rowan, and they found Jason Voorhees. They didn't really know who they were until they brought on their ship, which was what was it, the Apache. That was the name of the ship. Um, Basically, the members of the Apache brought Rowan and Jason Voorhees on their ship, and they got them, patched up and everything. So, Rowan is alive, Jason Voorhees is alive. He starts killing everybody. Um, Basically, the best part of this whole movie was the kind of throwback to the Crystal Lake, where the holographic simulation, Uber Jason, which didn't know, he went through the whole when he was destroyed at first by KM-14, where she killed Jason, and Jason landed on one of the machines where they patch him up and everything. So he ended up being a machine, and his mask looked pretty fucking cool. Sorry for my language, but he looked pretty cool with the mask. Everything else, I was like, eh. Um, but anyway, the best scene was definitely the holographic simulation of the Uber Jason going back to Crystal Lake, and he was killing the two sluts, with the sleeping bag, that whole situation with the sleeping bag, which I love. My favorite kill, however, is his first kill on the ship, where he killed the girl Adrian, who was portrayed by Christy Angus. And he trapped her in liquid nitrogen, and her face was covered in ice, and he just like slammed her face right into the what do you call it, right into the desk, and like their face kind of shatters in pieces. So that's an awesome kill. Um, there's a lot of good stuff in this movie. I just wish they did it a lot better, because it's portrayed for the future. So anyway, number 5 on my list is Part 3 in 3D. This came out in 1982. Um, Basically, this is the iconic film where Jason found his hockey mask. Jason is portrayed by Richard Brooker in this movie. Basically, one of my favorite kills in this movie is where one of the main characters, not one of the main characters, but the subpar main characters. His name is Andy. He is portrayed by Jeffrey Rogers. He's the guy that keeps on walking around on his hands. Well, basically, Jason found him on his hands, and he sliced him in half, basically. I think my favorite character in the franchise, and the whole franchise, is Shelly, and he's in this film. He's portrayed by Larry Zerner. Don't really know the guy, but he was really good in this movie. Basically, Shelly is the comedic, he portrays a comedic kind of actor. He wanted to be an actor, but he's very comical. He's not. He wasn't. He doesn't want to be taken seriously. Anyway, and he likes this girl. What was her name? Verna, and she's portrayed by Catherine Parks. Don't really know the actress. Just information I'm trying to throw out. They have a very weird relationship at first. Yeah, Shelly was, going to Camp Crystal Lake just because of this whole, he's by himself, and, he went with a group of people with two potheads, and the whole situation. So he needed to be with somebody, and Verna was the main girl. Um, they didn't like each other at first until the scene where they went to the convenience store and they ran into three particular gang members, which is Ali Fox and what was his last? What was it? Oh yeah, Loco. Yeah, I got my information on here, so I wrote stuff I wanted to say. Um, but yeah, those three members were starting to fight with Shelly and Verna in the convenience store. Um, Shelly ended up punting kicking their motorcycles. So basically, he got the last laugh kind of thing. But those gang members followed them to where they had to be in Camp Crystal Lake, and Jason got them. So they didn't really get their last laugh at all. But yeah, this movie's really good, especially in 3D. Surprisingly, I mean, I'm not really into the 3D movies, but this was actually pretty good for its time. Even though the gimmick, I just don't like the 3D gimmicks at all. But it worked for its time, so I give them that. Um, let's see, what am I want to do? Number 4 in my top 10 is Part 2, which was made in 1981. The main actress, or the main character, is Ginny, was portrayed by Amy Steele. She's a very good actress. She was in a movie Walk Like a Man with Howie Mandel. Basically, she was one of the late counselors for the for Camp Crystal Lake, and she was in a very busted ass car. So Jason Voorhees is portrayed by Warrington Gillette, which is the first actual Jason, not like in the first film, but he's the first actual Jason that they actually used. He was in the knapsack. They didn't have the hockey mask yet, so they tried a half sack. That I didn't really like that. The whole sack on his face. You only saw the eyeball. It was weird, but I was glad they changed it in Part 3 where he had to wear the hockey mask. But anyway, in Part 2, my favorite kill in this movie was where one of the counselors was in a wheelchair. His name is Mark. He's portrayed by Tom McBride. Basically, he was in his wheelchair. He's outside on the patio, and he's just minding his own business. And all of a sudden, you just see this machete right to his face, and his whole wheelchair. He goes down like a big flight of stairs. That's probably one of the most memorable kills in this whole franchise, in my opinion. Um, Also, for Part 2, they kind of made it from, kind of taking it from the end of Part 1, where Al survives, she kills Mrs. Voorhees, and Jason must have seen that, and that's where he actually goes and shows up shows up at her house, and just kills Alice with an ice pick right to the brain, which is insane for his first kill, his first actual kill. Um, but yeah, basically that's it for number 4. My top 10. Number 3 in my top 10 is gonna be the final chapter, which is number 4, or part 4. This film was made in 1984. Mostly everybody remembers this movie only because the main actor in this movie, which is Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman moved on. Yada yada yada. He's one of the biggest actors ever. Yada yada yada. But he played Tommy Jarvis. He was young. But my favorite scene was actually seeing Corey Feldman's character, Tommy Jarvis, takes Jason Voorhees' machete and just, he's hacking at the end of the movie, And you see his sister, Trish, who's portrayed by Kimberly Beck, and she's like, Tommy, no! Tommy Jarvis is like, die! Die! The whole, it's one of those memorable scenes in the whole Friday the 13th. Especially since Tommy Jarvis is in Part 4, Part 5, and Part 6. Basically, he's kind of like the arch nemesis of Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees in this movie was portrayed by Ted White. Don't know much about him. But yeah, he's just another Jason Voorhees. Everybody knows that basically the majority of people that watch Friday the 13th, they all love Kane Hodder as Jason Voorhees. And I didn't really get to his films yet. Well, Part 8 and Part 10 I already went through. Um, but yeah, Kane Hodder's Jason Voorhees is the best Jason Voorhees, because he's the only guy that played him 4 times. Um, but the final chapter itself, Part 4, is memorable for the whole dancing scene. If you don't know, they had a party at the Camp Crystal Lake, and Crispin Glover, who plays Jimmy, who basically just got dumped by his girlfriend. His character anyway. He got dumped by his girlfriend, and his friend Ted was like, "You're a dead, you know." He's a dead fuck, basically. That's what he said in the movie. And basically, Jimmy was showing his dance moves. It was so funny. It was even in the script. Is that right? Yeah, it wasn't even in the script. And Kristen Glover was just all dancing. It just kept in the scene. It was just very good. What was that song? I keep on forgetting the song he was dancing to. But I think it's the group Lion. So yeah, it's one of those 80 bands. But anyway, final chapter is one of the first films that debuted twins, Tina and Terry, who one of the twins got into Jimmy, and the other twin tried to get into another guy. It didn't work out. So Jimmy's friend Ted tried, didn't work out. His Ted is a jerk, doesn't know what he's doing. So yeah, my favorite death in this film was, if you remember in the beginning of Part 4, Jason Voorhees was at Camp Crystal Lake. He was in a hospital. He was in the morgue. And the one of the guys, Axel, tried to, it was Axel and this, one of the nurses. Jason Voorhees' hand just like all of a sudden moved. Nobody noticed it, but his hand started moving. And then all of a sudden, Axel wasn't even paying attention. He was watching the TV, and you see freaking Jason Voorhees' hand with a freaking hacksaw. Like it was a surgical hacksaw. It just goes, yanks it on his neck, twisted his neck, which is a pretty good kill in my opinion. But this movie was definitely very good for my for a top 10, definitely in the third spot. And I'll come back with the third final video to talk about the final 2. I got my countdown, so see you guys in a bit.